Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study entitled Four Women, where we're talking about the four women mentioned in the lineage of Jesus. And we've been talking about Rahab, the harlot of Jericho, and we told her story um, last time. Um, there are some other details that we know from Matthew's Gospel. Her son is Boaz. And we'll talk about him a little more when we do Ruth next time. But her son is Boaz, and that means she's Ruth's, technically, his mother-in-law, and it makes her David's great-great-grandmother. We asked yesterday, or said yesterday that we would ask today, um, why is she here? Why is it important to mention her? Um, and to bring up this whole story to remind us that there is a prostitute in the lineage, not only of Jesus, but of King David. I mean, and fairly recently in the lineage of David. So why would this be something that Matthew would mention if he's trying to appeal to a Jewish audience, if he's trying to present a finely, and let me repeat that, finely crafted genealogy. Um, and I think in her case, there are some really obvious reasons. She's in Hebrews 11, also a book written to a primarily Jewish audience. She's there as an example of faith. There aren't many people that make it of all the heroes of the Old Testament, and there are fewer women. Sarah's there, she's there, um, and 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 she's there because of her faith. And as we listened to her statement of faith last time, I think we understood it to be one of the great statements of faith in all the Old Testament. Um, Her faith is real. Eh, I believe this God. She believes in God in a way that the Jewish people don't. Maybe familiarity breeds contempt. Maybe having the cloud of pillar and the cloud of smoke with them every day, manna from heaven and quail in the camp, 3 squares a day, provided by God. You start to take God for granted and think this is the way it's supposed to be, not this is a great gift from God. But she's staring down the barrel of the Jewish invasion, and they have no hope. And it's not because of the number of the people or because of their military might, it's because of their God. And she said, we know Yahweh is the God of heaven. He is the God in heaven and the God here on earth. He's not a local God. He's not your God. He's everyone's God. And he is on your side. And there's nothing we can do, you know, absolutely nothing. We can't build thicker walls. We can't get better weapons. Nothing is going to protect us in the face of God. In a sense, this is a more absolute faith even than Joshua has, because God didn't tell Joshua to send spies out, but he sent them out anyway. Why does Joshua need military intelligence if he's dependent upon God? God's going to make the walls fall. Joshua doesn't know that, but he knows that God's going to achieve the victory some way. Her faith is so complete that we need to see it, we need to remember it, and we need to know it. Jesus said of Mary of Bethany when she anointed his feet and with the nard, the pure nard. He said, wherever the gospel is preached, people are going to remember this story because it's important. And I really believe Matthew was saying we've got to remember this is the kind of faith we're talking about here that you have to be saved. It's the faith that Mother Rahab had, um, and that that's a reason. And then there are many other reasons. Everything that we've already said about Tamar is true about her. She's a foreigner. It reminds us that everyone has a past, everyone has baggage, everyone has sin, everyone has a lineage that is a mixed bag. All of us. That none of us maintain the moral high ground and can look down our noses from that perch on other people. Um, so all of that's there too. And it just reminds us also of God's great deliverance. It brings back the whole Jericho episode and how God delivers us in ways we could not imagine. And that's exactly what he's going to do in Jesus Christ. Okay. Next time we're together, we're going to talk about Ruth. Love to visit Bethlehem. Bethlehem and Bethany are my two favorite places to visit in all the world and in all of Scripture. And so we're going to get to go to Bethlehem next time and get to spend time with these two wonderful women and the best man we know from Scripture, not named Jesus. So we'll talk about them next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.